Well, one's a historic house of about 2,500 square feet, and the other is about 900 square feet.
900 square feet, well, that's not very long. Well, size matters when it comes to these things. Mm-hmm. It always does. Don't let anybody tell you otherwise. Size always matters, but it's also a preference. Yeah? Some people are fine with 900 square feet. Other people like what was the other size, 2,500? And historic. So it's old, but still standing. Yeah, just put Viagra on the studs to keep them up. Yeah? They're just me. That was a great answer, actually. I like it. Okay, so let's see. So it's your first time, right, Sal? Yeah? What do you think so far?
I'm enjoying it.
Yeah? What did you learn in that last presentation you're going to take away?
That last presentation, I learned that I need to come and think about what I'm doing currently and how to get to where I'm supposed to be going in a way that's more mindful. Not just, I need to get everything and do everything at once, but rather have a more strategic plan and way going forward.
That was well said. Look, Ten, he was actually listening to you. Isn't that nice? That was a really nice takeaway. Yeah. We call it living with intention. She ain't even paying attention. I'm paying all these women compliments right now, and no one's paying attention. I'm just going to start complimenting men. They don't care either. They're like, yeah, we know. We got it. Yes, but living intentionally with the strategy, I like that. Noah, how you doing? How you doing? I have a microphone and everything looking right at me. Like, huh? How you doing? Oh, fantastic. So what's this brokerage you're joining?
It's SCDO. It's a broker-dealer, registered broker-dealer. And it's, specializing in a lot of Reg D 506Cs. So,
and for those of you who don't know Reg D 506C,
it's the ability when you work on large projects and you want to raise capital from investors, you create what's called a private placement, hire an attorney to do that, and then you can sell securities, usually for bigger projects. So as a direct issuer, you could sell it yourself, but if you want to have somebody sell it for you, usually with the securities laws, unless they're a GP, you have to have somebody that's licensed to help you sell the securities. So it's really like folks that have bigger operations that don't have time to talk to investors, et cetera.
Do you put the PPM together yourself?
No, the securities attorney does.
Okay, well, I was hoping that we get a discount there, because those are the expensive parts.
I can refer you, I know securities attorneys that do that.
So we're trying to do a PPM to pull money together to help fund social housing projects. So we'll talk to you more about that. My ex was a CFP. Yeah, we're exes for a reason. So we move on from that. All right, I'm stalling in here, y'all. Come on in. What's taking y'all so long? Hey, get in here.
It's only 15 minutes, don't take 30.
Sorry, y'all are good. We're not yelling at y'all. That's why the mic was out of my face. Okay. We got entrance music for this one, so we got to get ready for it. You see what's the screen? Go on, girl. Be a mama. Tell them to get their assets in here. Yeah, the gay guy's hogging the mic. He wants to move on. Yeah, I got things to do. I got to look at Grindr or something. Thank you. It's also not true. I don't have that app, believe it or not. Anyway, not the point. No one else cares except for Ashley because she's a sick individual. Jordan, what have you been up to since last we saw each other? Is this awkward? Putting stuff in the car. Putting stuff in the car. You are not helping me whatsoever right now. How long have you guys been married? These are. It's going to be such a fiasco.
We are actually not married.
In that case, it was an awkward question. My mistake. So how long have you guys not been married?
3 years.
Well, congratulations. Keep up the good work. Give them a round of applause. Not married for 3 years. Yeah, it's wonderful. And going strong. They also have like 9 huskies, by the way. 8 huskies. I had to remember it's a multiple of 3 or something. Well, multiple of 4. Not the point. So yeah, so pretty much you go to their house, it's like Singing with the Wolves, right? Is that what the book is? Snowing all day in Florida. They've got 8 dogs that are huskies in Florida. This is our winter, okay? It does not get colder than this. Except for this ball where my nipples about to pop out of my shirt. All right, is everybody out there? You know how it is to change. She's like, I know it's cold. Let's see. All right, we can start without them. That's their mistake. We're going to find out how to get our inheritance over here with this Erin portion. You guys ready to find out about these government contracts? Come on now, let's make it sound like it's a full house. Wonderful. Everybody Clap your hands.
Good morning, good morning, good morning, everybody. I am just so excited to be in the room today. I am Erin, and this is the level up. This is the level up. This is the opportunity for you all to learn streams of revenue that are available where you can diversify your portfolio. So I'm excited. I don't know about you all, but I have some information where I want to equip and empower you to get access to contracts and business deals. We'll let her work on that. But I believe that I am among some record breakers, some game changers, and some history makers. I believe I'm among some wealth builders, and truly federal government contracts is very lucrative and it has high return. So as we prepare to get the slides up, I'm just gonna go ahead and roll with it, introduce myself. I am Erin Portia. I'm a believer, I am a mother, I love people, and I'm a servant at heart. I've vested over 15 years in the public sector, working with the federal government, and I'm a catalyst. I understand where the money resides, and I want to help people tap into it and access it with the things that you're already doing. The federal government literally buys everything. And there is a gap, there is a shortfall of small business owners showing up to perform the work and fulfill the requirements of the contracts. So I want you all to know that you have access. As I said earlier, I build empires, and I love to travel. I love to dance, and I'll try just about anything once, okay? So with that, I believe that there is a million ways to get it, and the sky is the minimum. The sky is the minimum. You can truly do whatever it is that you believe and desire that you'd like to do in your business, and also change the narrative for generations to come. The speaker before me, Tanya, was amazing. She talked about mindset. Mindset is key when we are talking about multi-year, multi-million-dollar contracts. It gives you an opportunity to employ many from state to state. So we want to tap into that. This opportunity to diversify your portfolio and sell your services to the federal government, it can be life-changing with just one contract. Just one contract. So with that, my inspiration for doing this, it started where I was a project manager for the government, and I was in planning, and I learned about all of the different agencies, divisions, and departments in the government. And in that work, I met so many people from all across the world that were working for the federal government. And there was this one couple that said to me, Erin, you're young. I was in my early 20s. Save your money and do everything where the door opens. Walk through it and do it. Learn as much as you can. And I did. This couple worked 6 months out of the year, and they sailed 6 months out of the year. I looked at that couple and I said, I want to be like that when I grow up. So my journey continued in the federal government space. I worked with over 75 federal agencies, coordinated information and resources, was able to learn about the agencies, their missions, and what they do what they stand for, and how they do business. So that put me in a position to be able to connect buyers to suppliers. And that's how I can show you all where the money resides in the federal government space. So I became a federal government contractor, and in my journey, I actually started right here in Orlando. My first and most lucrative contract opportunity was right here as a result of Hurricane Irma. So again, I'm really excited to be here with you all today. And truly, I believe that if experience is all you have, experience is all you need. Because I stand here before you today without a college degree. I have certifications that I leveraged for the different work that I performed. And it has taken me many, many places to include this room, okay? So I just want to let you all know that this is an opportunity, and we've already had the mindset exercises, the grounding, and I want you all to open your mind and consider, how does this align with what you are already doing? And with that, I want to hear from some of you all in the room. I would love to hear from a couple of you to share. If you could describe your life and your business in one word, what would be that one word?
Blessed.
Blessed. Anybody else? Life and business in one word. Chaos. Okay, we can work with that. Abundant. Opportunity. Anybody else? Describe your life and business in one word. One more person.
Contingency. Consistencia.
Consistent. Consistent is key to be successful and win. Love, love, love it. Amazing. Thank you all. So, I'm the founder and CEO of Global Works Consulting Group, and my company started while I was performing federal services in 2009. I helped individuals access and become federal government employees. I did KSA writing, resume writing, etc. and so on. I saw opportunity, and I wanted people to get access. The benefits were great, and there was so many different things that people could do in the federal government. Now, I'm a federal government contractor, and we sell the federal government digital transformation, IT program management, organizational change management, as well as modernization of their services and also their systems. So anyone in the room can be a federal government contractor with the services that you already sell. And I'm going to show you how my journey can become the same journey that you all can literally see yourself in. Again, these are some of the services that we offer broken down. Some of the services that you all more than likely perform in your own company. Business analysis. And these are the services that we offer to small businesses to help them tap into this opportunity. And I want to, since we're talking about contracts, I want to set the tone for a contract agreement in this room today. I want you all to commit to going to the next level and navigating through the growth and expansion. Doing business with the federal government comes with many complexities, and there's many levels and layers to this work. But I am here to show you, I'm living proof that it can be done, okay? Get the information and make decisions. You all are CEOs, you all run businesses. Decisive decisions is pivotal, it's key in this space. And create an action plan. We can help you do that. Commit to engaging and connecting with others. Relationships is currency in this industry. teaming and partnering. If you don't have it, there's someone else that does. Team and partner with them so that you can fulfill the requirements and get the contract. If you don't have it, go out and get it. That is my rule of thumb to helping businesses get into this industry. And ask questions. Always ask questions to remove the blockers, right? There's, like I said, the sky is the minimum. So there's no limitations in this space. And we want you all to win. So prepare to invest, reinvest, and invest again. So let's talk about some of the market impacts that you all have experienced since COVID-19. We know that there has been a lot of wins, opportunities to win, and also there's been some pain that you all have experienced as a result of COVID. We know that the market, the sales went down, right? We know that inventory became a challenge. We know that people was limited with travel, and then travel went back up again. So being able to lease a home, it was a preference for people as opposed to renting or staying in hotels, right? So there have been so many pain points, and there have been so many new opportunities that were created as a result of COVID-19. It has impacted your work. And I'd love to hear from anyone in the room to share some of the wins that came out of COVID-19 and also some of those pain points. Anybody? How did COVID-19 impact your business?
So before COVID, I was actually working too much, like working 60, 70 hours a week, and then it allowed the world to stop for me and spend more time with my kids. And it was actually, besides getting COVID, that really sucked, but it was a blessing to be able to get really, really close with my kids and my family. And then I actually cut a lot of fat off my business because there was so many things on reoccurring charges, and I was spending way too much money in certain areas, and my profitability literally skyrocketed. And I had read a book called Profit First, like literally right around that time. So it really helped me just become mega profitable. And run lean and small and have a lot more time.
That's amazing. He reclaimed his time, had time to sit and reassess and evaluate the business, and was able to streamline and create efficiency in his business. Amazing. Anyone else want to share wins or losses? Go ahead.
Similar story. It forced us to go virtual. When we went virtual, it allowed us to put different KPIs in place to be able to really track and run our business in a much better way, more efficient. Number one. Number two, I'm also a builder. So we were in the middle of building properties or maybe getting permits or breaking ground, and we thought we were going to sell it here, and we ended up selling it way up here.
Wow.
Big, huge amounts more.
Wow. Amazing. Amazing. Go ahead.
So I just started my nonprofit before everything went to shit, and before everything fell apart. And because we were actually able to focus, we were able to expand into 5 states in our first year, which is awesome. But we didn't qualify for any of the government funding, which is one of the pain points. So we did all of it like prayer and just bootstrapping. So it's been fascinating, but yeah, we'd love to hear more about that.
Sure. Amazing. I think the key is you got started, and at the time that you got started, there was an opportunity to accelerate and jumpstart getting into the market, which we understand when we start a company, when we do a thing, we need to get some experience. We need to be able to put those KPIs in place and get some performance, right? The government, they look for performance. So we need to have some time in service. That experience can come from a job that you worked on. If you did community service, volunteer work, whatever that is, that equates to experience and performance. So it can be included into your portfolio. Go ahead.
Yeah, when it transpired that it happened, our businesses had to close, and that's when I was really hesitant to take money from the way more money coming out of the federal government than I could have made if I was just open enrollment. So, yeah, there's a little guilt there, but at the same time, it was available, and I had people pushing me to say, hey, just, there's the money. The federal government's giving it out like candy, why don't you just try for it? And it just started coming in, and so it's out there,
Why not get it?
right?
Exactly. Amazing. Amazing. So the federal government, we know that they are the largest buyer. They're the largest buyer in the world, right? And we know that the pandemic, it changed how we worked. It also impacted the commercial and brick and mortar space. You know, businesses closed, facilities closed. And it impacted the air travel, construction, retail, et cetera, so on, hospitality. There were huge losses in revenue. And the federal government understood those impacts. And they put some funding in place to help to revitalize small businesses and the communities. And they are still working to put more dollars back into the hands of business owners. So this is a key time to position ourselves to get into this space of federal government contracting, which is why I am having this conversation more and more each day with both business owners like you, so that you can see and understand where does this align with what you are already doing and where to get started. So let's get into more detail. Here are some fun facts. Now, we're gonna start at the top. Don't be distracted by the Elon Musk situation. We're gonna talk about that. But the federal government spent $681 billion in fiscal year 2020. And that was an increase from 2019. A record-breaking amount was spent with small businesses in 2021. $145.7 billion was spent in contracting.
Sure.
The annual rate is typically 26% that they spend with small businesses. For the housing industry alone, the federal government spent $51 billion in housing assistance in 2019. And that's more than 80% of what the federal government typically spends. So the money is there. It is out there, and they need small businesses to fulfill the requirements because the federal government cannot do it alone. So that being said, how many of you all knew that Elon Musk was a federal government contractor? Okay, all right, okay, good. There are some in the room. People look at me and they're like, what? What do you mean? He's been acquiring federal government contracts since 2015 in 3 of his businesses. To date, $4.9 billion in contracts. Federal government contracting is where the money resides, and you have access. You have access. So, what does that mean? How do you get access? I'm going to show you. On the table, there is a sample capability statement. This capability statement is the goal, okay? This is a real company that is doing real business with the federal government. Now let me set the tone here, because they've been doing business with the federal government since 1995, okay? And if you look at this capability statement, you see the core competencies. I want to hop over to the right-hand side of this document. Again, this is the goal. This is where we want to be. There are some NAICS codes and PSC codes. Basically, NAICS codes and PSC codes, product service codes, it is what the federal government buys from small businesses, okay? So, is there anyone in the room that offers any of these services that you see listed here? Facility support, hotel and motel, travel support, room and boarding housing, real estate brokerage, leasing of residential buildings and homes. Is there anyone in the room that offer or sell any of these services? Anybody? Okay, all right. Looking at this portfolio gives you insight of the opportunities that are available to sell services and do business with the federal government. Again, this is a real company. Now, I don't know Lisa, so don't call her and, mention my name, but, no, I'm kidding. I do know the founder and CEO of this company, and, she is killing it. It's a woman-owned business. She's no longer small, and she holds a GSA contract. And if you look at the first contract listed there, award amount, $70 million. Start of July 2020 through June 2025, $70 million. That's just one contract. This is why we know doing business with the federal government can be a game changer for your life and for your business. And this is why we're having this conversation today, because we want you all to understand the windows of opportunity. I said that this could be very complex. The entry barriers, there are barriers to getting into this space. This is why there is a gap of small businesses showing up, because there's layers to it, there's levels to it, and it requires work. It can be costly. And doing business with the federal government, they're old school. So they're working to modernize their systems, but a lot of it, it's paperwork. It's paperwork. So those are some of the entry barriers that prevent people from getting into this federal government contract space. But at GlobalWorks, we cracked the code. I used to work for the federal government as a contracting officer, and I became a contractor. So I understand how they do business on the inside, as well as I understand my journey to becoming a contractor, and I've worked with many other contractors in this space. And we talk about the challenges. And believe it or not, the federal government is now hearing us. They are now understanding the complexities and the challenges. And they want to help businesses access these contracts. So this is why we're having this conversation. And we actually have an agreement. I leverage my relationships in the federal government to help business owners connect to the federal agencies that buy what you sell. So with that, there's a process of ensuring that your company is set up and established on a solid foundation, right? So that when you win these contracts, your systems are in place and you can hit the ground running and focus on delivering to your customer, to your client, that being the federal government. So we went through some mindset exercises, and what I love that Tanya did was the visualization exercise. I'm understanding, that visualization is so powerful. We must see and imagine things in order for them to manifest. I want to briefly take you all through a visualization exercise. Getting into this federal government contract space, mindset is key. And I believe that it's important that we understand blockers that may subconsciously exist that prevent us from going to that next level. That's the whole point and purpose of this slide, to understand those blockers. Once we understand the blockers that could be potentially limiting us, we can then decide, okay, this is my issue. How can I eliminate this? How can I remove the blocker? How can I push past this and overcome this, right? So due to time's sake, I'm gonna breeze through the slide, but The most important thing here is visualizing yourself as becoming a highly sought after federal government contractor in your industry and you acquiring contracts, multi-million dollar contracts for multi-years. You see proof that it is being done, and this is just one example. There are many, many companies in this space. So write it out, whatever that vision is, whatever that dream is, and envision yourself doing that. So why are we here? Again, we are leaving so much money on the table, and it's time to level up. That song is very intentional. We want to help to close the gaps in this space and be able to employ people, be able to hire people. The government understands how valuable small businesses is to revitalizing the communities. So with that, we want to position the companies to enter the market. A small business is basically defined as a business that makes anywhere from 1 million to over 40 million. It varies, specifically in the real estate industry. And typically that employee number can be from 100 to over 1,500 employees. I want to help you all see that this is for you. This fits your profile, your business profile. For the real estate industry, you see the NAICS codes and the descriptions. The descriptions are the services. Residential property managers. The federal government, they own a lot of land, and they employ business owners, small businesses, to manage property. That's just one example. Facility support. These are the annual revenue standards and the services that fit. So in addition to that, the federal government has a goal that they would like to meet each year to work with minority small business owners. And here's a description of minority business owners. It's important that we understand where we fit in this picture, how our business is defined and how we describe it, because that means we have more access and we also have special business certifications that you qualify for. Your business can be certified as a minority business owner if you are Black, Asian, Hispanic, Native American. To do business with the federal government and acquire a contract, you must be for profit. This is all for profit. We are not talking nonprofit at this time. We're talking for profit. And you must be full-time in your company. Does anyone in the room qualify based on the small business size and the minority business size? Does anyone in the room qualify to do business with the federal government? Amazing. Amazing. Okay? All right. So now that we understand the requirements, now that we understand some of those standards, now that we understand where this aligns with what you are already doing in your company, the federal government buys everything from products to services. They buy paper clips. They buy scrap. Here are the industry classifications from finance and insurance, educational services, public administration, healthcare, social assistance, retail trade, warehousing, The federal government buys everything. And to break it down specifically for the real estate marketing industry, take a snapshot of this. Title services, closing services, appraisal, fleet and automotive. The government buys everything. If you don't sell it, I'm sure you know someone else that does. And that's just more detail outside of specifically the real estate industry of what type of vendors the federal government buys services from. Paving, interior design, landscape design, office furniture. These are products and services that the federal government purchases every day, more than 10 billion transactions per year. What's most important is to understand who buys your services. This slide is very key and important. It's your starting point. It's a starting point to understand the top 10 agencies that spend the most money with small businesses. And what I urge you to do is take a snapshot of this, go over to their website to understand what it is that they do in these agencies, understand their mission sets, and again, how that aligns to what you're already doing in your business. Department of Interior, GSA, Department of Agriculture, Department of Energy, and Veteran Affairs and Health and Human Services. They do most business in the real estate industry. So to help you understand some of the terminology, there are two types of contracting opportunities. You can get into this space as a primary contractor or as a subcontractor. A primary contractor is the business owner that holds the contract, they make the agreement in the deal with the government, and the government cuts the check directly to them. As a subcontractor, the primary can sub out some of the work to other small businesses, and the agreement is between the prime and the subcontractor. Subcontractor has less risk, less liability. All liability is on the prime, and the contract with the prime is with the government. Starting point for most small businesses, especially for those that are single CEOs, they start as a subcontractor. They partner with businesses that already hold federal government contracts. And they are able to then get experience and exposure in the federal market and build relationships. We show you how to become a subcontractor and also position your company to compete as a primary contractor. All things being said, marketing to the federal government is how they get to know your business. It's how you can win contracts. It's how you can get direct contracts, meaning you don't necessarily have to compete for those contracts. And the federal government is bottom line. They want to buy what you sell. Show me that you can perform, you can deliver, and you get the contract. So marketing to the federal government is a thing, and there is a strategy, there is an approach to doing just that. You want to talk to those contracting officers, those procurement officers, those decision makers. And what I love most about the federal government, we have those agencies that we provided to you all. You can go to their websites, you can look at their strategic plan, you can look at the forecast, and also their budgets that are approved. You can understand what are those pain points in the federal government and where are those windows of opportunity to do business with them. And from there, you can also see what they are forecasted to purchase and buy. This is where the money resides, and this is the approach to getting into the federal government environment. I love that the federal government puts out so much information. It's important, of course, that we do the research to understand what's happening in those agencies, but the information is out there. We have access. So I want to share this slide. There are some free resources that small businesses can access and tap into to help you get into this space. You want to register your company with the Women Business Centers, Small Business Development Centers, PTech, take a screenshot of this, your Chamber of Commerce, Urban Leagues, Small Business Caucuses. The federal government funds these organizations to provide free services to small businesses. Now, I will say that their capacity is limited, and of course, they can only take you so far in the journey, but there is a network there, right? And you can get to know business owners that are already in the market and in the industry doing business with the federal government. Key opportunity to build relationships. They hold a lot of educational programs where you all can network with other individuals that are in the federal government contracting space. So with that, I'm going to bring this to a close. We want you all to understand where the windows of opportunity are to do business with the federal government. I had an exercise, but we are limited with time, so I'm gonna breeze through this, but I do want to share, and when Tanya gets back, there'll be a handout that you all can get. But I do want you all to understand that at Global Works Consulting Group, we have a methodology where we help business owners access, win, and maintain these federal government contracts. And it starts with understanding where the alignment is and making a decision that you're gonna get into this industry. Federal government contracting, it is the long game. As I said, the company portfolio that you see on the table, they started in 1995. It's the long game, and you can win, okay? And then we leverage your experience. If experience is all you have, experience is all you need. And the government pays for experience. From there, you can acquire contracts and you can leverage relationships. There is someone in the room that complements what you already do or work in parallel that you can team up with to acquire contracts. So networking is so vitally important because if you don't have it, someone else in the room has it, and you are then qualified and have the capability and the capacity to do business with that contract. And then from there, we sell our services and we build for sustainability. When you access those contracts, we want you to win. And from there, we want you to be able to duplicate that process and win again and win more. So there's limitless opportunity to do business with the federal government. And I want to help you all tap in. Go ahead.
Is it like a win? It's like a bid, or like you bid for those contracts, or is it like?
Yes, to answer your question, yes. Bidding is
Okay.
Yeah, it's a highly process for acquiring those federal government contracts, and we provide bid support, proposal support. Primarily, we work with small businesses that are at the entry level to do subcontracting, which does not require bidding, and there's also sole source.
So, just, you know the number, so how much money has government allocated to, say, real estate or like affordable housing? What was the number? I don't know if you mentioned it before.
50 billion.
That's a good amount.
That's a good amount. And we have access to tap in and get a piece of the pie. So for anyone that would like to connect with me, my website is erinporche.com, and there is my QR code. If you scan that, it should, thank you, Jacob. It should take you directly to my site. Again, we have solutions that can help you enter this market We are here. I'll be here throughout the rest of the weekend if you all have questions. But let's get connected, stay connected, and tap in. And I want to thank Sherlock Holmes and and the $1 Billion Boardroom for the invitation and the opportunity to speak before you all. Again, I'm Erin Porsche, founder and CEO of Global Works Consulting Group, and it's been a pleasure. Woo!
Give it up for Erin, thank you. Yeah. I actually want to go back a couple slides. So for those of you who have not, met the 21st century, if you scan your QR code, there are a couple things you want to do. There will be a banner that pops up on the top of your smartphone. If you have an Apple versus Android, it will do a couple different things. But what you want to do is tap the banner, scroll all the way down to the bottom of the contact card where it says Add to Contacts. Then you have to go through your normal process of actually adding a new contact to your phone. So make sure you save it when you're done. This is actually one of my favorite things to do. If you have, like with Javier, what I would do is I would put his multiple projects that he's raising funds for there, so people can go and click on them and actually go to their own landing pages or websites. I'm doing it for fundraisers with my nonprofit. So every individual fundraiser will have its own link on there. It's a really fantastic card. So if you go down there, go to Add to Contacts, you can also get your own 10K card, which is fabulous. Erin, darling, you have given us so much to think about, hasn't she? Give her a round of applause. Yeah. So Erin and I spoke on a panel in New York a couple weeks ago, and I was like, I have to know you. And just so you're all wondering, yes, I have first dibs on making her my next COO. Okay, so hands off. She's brilliant, and there's so much more. Go talk to her, she's got so much knowledge. Except for you, you're not allowed to talk to her. No, sit there and hang your head and shake. There you go. Good, you listen. You can be trained, honey. He might be marriage material one day after all. Yeah, one day. Or you just stay single for 3 years. Ah! It's okay, it's smarter. Yeah.